when you get on, they have to do a safety thing where they did like a presentation and talked about, in case of emergency, where the life vests are and all of that. So I think it was like within an hour or two of being on the boat that they do that. And Jared was already passed out. We couldn't get him up to go to this thing. So I was so annoyed. I'm like, we just got here.
Hey everybody, it's Small Town Sober here in the beautiful state of Florida. Yes, you heard that correctly. Our daughter asked us to bring down all the equipment, which was a nice little moment in TSA for myself, but we decided to record this month's episode in Florida. We were on vacation. This was a rescheduled vacation actually from when our son was born. He came 4 weeks early and we were supposed to come down to Disney, and so we had to reschedule that. And here we are. So it is November 30th, and it's beautiful sunshine here. It is snowy and gross back at home in Michigan, which we are A-okay with at this point in time. But thank you for joining us. Anything you want to say to start us off?
Oh,
I love putting you on the spot.
cheers.
Cheers, yes.
NA Corona.
Yes, indeed.
It's funny, we're staying in Margaritaville.
Yep.
Who stays in Margaritaville when they don't drink? Us. We
Yeah,
do.
that's right.
It is absolutely beautiful though, so no
Yeah.
regrets.
Yep, we have had a lot of fun. All of our families here. We're with Grandma, with Joyce's mom, and she just took the kids to the main pool, and we'll be meeting up with them after this. Today, since we are in Florida, we wanted to speak to two different topics. Actually, this is over Thanksgiving break as well. So, speaking of alcohol in, I guess, my life, our lives, during the holidays and travel, during vacations and during the holidays. And so I guess I'll start off by saying that one of the things that was consistent for me is, especially if we were flying, I've got a job where I've been very blessed to go to a few different beautiful places based on performance and sales. And so, flying in planes has been something that we've done a decent amount. And one of the first things I would do, you look so small next to me. You were like,
I'm trying to stand
okay,
up.
all right.
Sit up straight.
Anyway,
Is that better?
Yes. So we wanted to make sure we got the pine trees in it, and
Palm trees.
I keep saying palm trees.
Yuck. No pine trees.
Yeah.
Yuck. I don't want to go back to snow.
I know. But anyway, even getting propped for vacation, the night before a trip, I would be drinking. Pop a top and pack to the best of my ability in my drunken state. And that would be the way to start off every beautiful, wonderful vacation. And I know my wife was just cringing at the thought of that, because everything, of course, is an excuse. The vacations and holidays are the ultimate excuse, which is why when I started the sobriety journey, it was this, during this time-ish last year. And it was really hard because we had vacations and holidays, and man, it's just a easy excuse to drink for me. So always drink, packing the night before, and then we'd ship off to the airport. And I would typically grab all these shooters of, what are they called, Fireball. So that's just like a cinnamon whiskey. And I'd grab, I don't know, what do you think, Joyce, like 5-10 of those?
Yeah.
And
I mean, a lot of people drink before they get on a plane. So it might sound very benign to be like, oh yeah, I would drink before I got on a plane. But it wasn't like that. It was like shot after shot after shot.
But it wasn't even that. We wouldn't even, we'd pull into the airport.
Like, right. You've
And
already been drinking.
Well, I'd been drinking, but then we would do shooters in the parking lot before I walked in.
It's not like just let's get a drink before we get on the plane. It was more than that, unfortunately. And then usually you drank on the plane too, which again, like I know so many people do that, but it was not. It was like too much, I mean, I would want to have a drink and then like just not have 5 more drinks. And you would want to have a drink and then continue drinking and not stop drinking until we got home.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, and you were always in charge of travel. I couldn't get anywhere on my own. That's a true statement for sure.
Well,
Still can't. So,
that hasn't changed.
but I would.
But it's okay.
By the time I walked in the doors of the airport, I already had a buzz on because I would guzzle some of those shooters in the parking lot. I usually drag you into one or two of those yourself, and then by the time we're in the airport, I'm on a buzz already. So I'm forgetting things already. And then we get through TSA, and the first thing we're doing is finding a restaurant to go find some usually heavy liquor at this point for me, because I know what's ahead, and the anxieties of flight were more so a figment of my imagination, which I'm coming to find. But I figured I would be nervous, and so I was drinking that away, and then we'd get on the flight. And I surrounded myself with people that also agreed with this thought process. And then we'd spend way too much on alcohol on the flight. And usually you try to get a mixer, and I'd try not to mix it. So you'd get maybe what would it be, Joyce? We'd get a Bloody Mary, and then
you just drink the vodka.
Just drink the vodka.
Shot.
And call it good. And then get to our destination. And the thing I noticed today, we took a Uber to church this morning, and that I couldn't have done without a almost panic attack. Any travel on vacation was hell without alcohol in my system calming my nerves, because I had so much anxiety from previous night or day of drinking that it just, every single ride was horrible. And Joyce would notice that. I remember the trip, that in Costa Rica on the bus, where they took us downtown, and I was freaking out. And I have Xanax for those moments, and I was trying not to take it. I probably should have, but really the irony of it is I was taking it to fend off the product of a hangover, is what it was.
Yeah, I'm guessing what happened in Costa Rica was that when we got there, your buzz had worn off, and you had anxiety about getting, when can I get the next drink? Because it seemed like as soon as drinks were brought out, you were instantly okay, good. And I think that ride from the airport to our resort, which they had drinks for us as soon as we got to the resort, even in line to check in, but that ride, I think you were anxious because you thought you needed to have a drink. And it's sad because I really enjoyed that ride. It was really pretty. There were monkeys and stuff. If you weren't, did you even see any of that, or not really?
Yeah, I remember seeing it, but you're in such a state of keep myself from going crazy, from losing it, that it's okay, see a monkey, okay, but focus. Your mind is racing so.
Focus on being stressed.
Focus.
Don't have fun. Don't relax.
It's so bad. And I remember the people sitting behind us, actually, and they were trying to have a conversation with me, and I'm don't. I was having the conversation, but I'm panicking on the inside, 'cause I just want to
I don't even remember.
Be in my own. It's just horrible. It's a horrible, horrible feeling. I wonder how many people out there actually have had those feelings, because I feel like I talk about it a lot, and I'm not sure it's a very common result of drinking, but it everywhere. Anxiety is huge for me, no matter where I went. And vacation was my green light to drink dusk till dawn, and especially on these trips where we had alcohol for the most part free to us. Man, took advantage of every moment of that. So we would, and that was actually on that same trip, Costa Rica. I don't know if I'll be able to figure out how to do it. Maybe I'll put it in there. But there's a picture that I took of us. We had this a horseback ride on the shores of the ocean, and I didn't want to go because I was so panicky already. And we had a group of friends that were going, and I I didn't want them to know, because they know, you know, it's like, oh, Jared can't go because he's not feeling well. They knew why it was. Everyone knows why it is. But we try to pawn it off as he's, you know, his stomach's sick. Maybe he had foreign food, right?
Wait, you did go.
I did go. What I'm saying is I didn't want to, and it was a battle to get me out that door. And why I'm saying that is because I have a picture of me that a selfie that I took with Joyce and the group behind me. And I remember taking that photo because I was freaking out so badly in my mind. And I'm smiling, and in the picture you probably wouldn't know it. Like I said, if I can figure out how to put it in the video, maybe I will. But my state of mind was just, I was out of my mind. I was going nuts in my mind.
Well, our friend just the other day was saying, Ashley, she was saying, remember there was always something that Jared would miss on a trip. Like when we were in Costa Rica, we went to a town called Tamarindo, and you were sick, and you went to bed early. Do you remember that?
Puked all night?
Yeah, like we're sick all night, and I went with your friends and like went out to dinner and went to Tamarindo and like shopping, and it was fun. But then that also happened in Hawaii. You know, we were in Hawaii and we went to go to eat with, we had it planned like all day that we were going out to eat at, I think it was like 7 or 8 o'clock. And I was kind of nervous, like, is Jared actually going to make it till this time? Is he going to be able to go? Nope, you passed out at like 6. So I went, and it was really fun. But I don't, she was just saying, like, yeah, there was always like, we always knew we were going to be hanging out with you and not Jared. Like, he was going to miss out. And it's really nice. We don't have, that's not the case anymore. And on this trip, we went to Disney. We did all 4 parks, but just 2 days. So 2 parks in a day. So I had told Jared, can we please try to go like open to close? Because we've never like done these long days because you always want to get back and start drinking. And I mean, we have a baby who's little. He's 7 months old, and so you would think like he would be the one that couldn't make it, but he is a really good baby, and we're pretty like relaxed with that kind of stuff, like nap schedules and stuff when we're on vacation. So it was really you that I was worried about, but you didn't even like complain at all. I mean, it was like we were at the park till close. We did 14-hour park days, like from the time we got there and got in line till the end of the day. It was 14 hours, and I was just like blown away that you did that, because we've never been able to do that before. And I feel like we actually got our money's worth this time.
Right. And I wasn't grappling with I need to get back. This is etching away at my time. Again, it always goes back to being selfish, and I wanted that time to relax and drink and pass out, you know, and then the next day was just crap again. So it's horrible. I don't know why. I mean, you put yourself through that. There's reasons why I was drinking, but yeah, the vacations always were my green light to just let go. And then I knew I wasn't gonna accept any reason. I wasn't gonna accept Joyce saying, yeah, maybe you shouldn't, because she can't. Especially on those trips, because I earned them, right? I earned them through my work. And so I wasn't going to allow anybody standing in my way of that, which was the other thing on those particular trips that I used in my defense to be selfish and really drink to excess. But yeah, as far as the parks go this go around, I wasn't stressed. There were a few times when you guys were talking about rides that we had done when we went few years ago, and I have no recollection. I mean, I have a recollection of some of the stuff, but certainly this go around, I took it in, and that's nice. And you know, watching the baby, you know, we were constantly handing him back and forth, keeping him happy, and it's a beautiful memory for me now, as opposed to, oh, this is tough, I'm angry, I'm mad, I'm irritable because I drank the night before. Let's get back so I can just real quickly drown myself again, which is what it was.
It's actually to your benefit, just a side note, if you have a baby, to come with you to Disney, because they let you do a rider swap. So you can ride the ride. Some people can ride the ride twice. Basically, he would wait in line with the kids for sometimes over an hour, and I would be with the baby outside, and then as soon as they were done, we just trade off. I hand him the baby, and I go on the ride with one or two of the kids. So the kids get to ride it more than once without waiting in line. So just a side note, if you have a baby, get someone else's baby and pretend they're yours, and then you can skip the line.
Yes, do that. That sounds good. It's a very, very good point of TripAdvisor, Joyce. So yeah, that's how trips go, and it's every trip, every vacation, everywhere, every time.
Yeah, I had hoped when we went out west and we were hiking that it would be better, but you drank every day, and you spent so much money on alcohol. Every time I would get groceries at wherever we were, so we had rented a RV, he drove it, we went out west, it was amazing, we went to like Yellowstone, Grand Teton, Badlands, whatever, and so we would like make grocery stops along the way and just load up, and every time he was like, can you get a 30 pack of Coors Light, can you get a 30 pack of Coors Light, can you get a 30 pack of Coors Light? And is it even 30 or is it 24? I don't even know.
It's 24, but
24. And we went on this one hike where there was a bear attack like a couple months prior, and by a grizzly. And the man ended up surviving, but it was like a close call. And it was this really, really like risky area. And you brought twisted tea, which I thought was a great idea considering it smells nice to bears. It was just really hard, I think, for you to not bring alcohol. And I mean, I've gone hiking in Zion with my friends. Like, we brought champagne in our backpack, whatever. I'm not saying like this is crazy, but it was a family trip, and every single part of that trip you had to intertwine alcohol, and it was like there was no break in those 2 weeks. Like, there was no day that you didn't have multiple drinks.
Well, and the surprising thing is believe it or not, I didn't drink as much. I drank a lot, but I didn't drink as much because
you were driving.
Yeah, I was driving, and prior to the trip, I had severe anxiety thinking about that. Like, how am I going to fit my drinks in and then wake up in the morning and have to travel again with that known anxiety I have, and I can't be in a car. The nice thing about the RV was it's a huge, huge vehicle. So whereas I think I struggle a lot with the idea of almost claustrophobia in a small vehicle because of the anxiety, I think that helped. But I didn't drink as much, or at least I tried to cut myself off earlier in the night. I certainly did drink every day, and still, I wasn't going to not allow myself that. And I don't remember too many drives that were anxiety-ridden, but there were a couple that were on the edge kind of thing, which is just nasty to even say, too, because you got your whole family in a huge vehicle. You're literally climbing up sides of mountains. And I'm willing to put my family through that for my own selfishness. It's kind of disgusting when I think about it in that way, but
I think the money too. I mean, when we went to Hawaii, I remember every time we went to the grocery store, and it was just a regular grocery store that we could walk to. That plane is kind of loud. I'm sure that's coming through. It was just a regular grocery store that we could walk to from our resort. So it wasn't like within our resort or anything. Obviously, that would be really expensive. Every time we went there, we spent like $300. And it was, you got Tito's, and I think you got Bloody Mary mix. And every day in Hawaii started with you making a Bloody Mary. Like, as soon as you woke up. And then, you got like whatever else. I don't know. I think we had seltzers and beers. But my point was just, it's expensive too. Like, we went to the store here because the kids wanted water, and the only store right there was a liquor store. So I went to the liquor store and got some waters. And it was looking at everything thinking, oh, this is so expensive. I'm so glad that we don't have to spend all this extra money on alcohol now.
Yeah. Do you remember the cruise too? We went on a cruise. This was years and years ago. I don't even think were we married yet? I don't think we were married. And this will help some people that want to save some money, but we poured out wine bottles because you could bring a wine bottle.
I think you could bring one per person.
One per person. So we poured out the wine, filled it up with hard liquor. It might have been Tito's, I don't remember exactly. And then we recorked it. I don't know, a friend of ours had like the wax thing that you see sometimes like on Maker's Mark. Anyhow, we recorked it, and so we had something that was, 30, 40, 50 proof as opposed to just wine, and put those in our suitcases too. Just the amount of creativity. And we still end up spending, I don't know, $500 on alcohol. I think our cruise, which was super cheap on one of the oldest boats I think it was the oldest boat in rotation at the time, I think it was like $500, and we doubled it with the cost of our alcohol. Joyce did, not me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was 21, so I probably did.
Yeah, but and actually to go to that too, let's actually open that one too. We've talked to our friends that we went on vacation with, and they were like, "Yeah, you guys were fighting a lot." I'm like, "What?" Drank so much, we fought a decent amount apparently, and I thought I had a blast because all I can isn't that horrible? Like,
yeah, they were like, "You guys had fun on that trip." I definitely, Jared was so when you get on a cruise, so this is actually the only cruise. Have you ever been on another cruise?
No.
So maybe a lot of people know this if you have been on cruises, but when you get on, they have to do like a safety thing where you have to all meet in this room, and they did like a presentation and talked about what you do with like how you, in case of emergency, where the life vests are and all of that. So I think it was like within an hour or two of being on the boat that they do that. And Jared was already passed out. We couldn't get him up to go to this thing. So I was so annoyed. I'm like, we just got here. Like, this is the safety presentation and you already can't go. So I guess I'm not entirely surprised, but whatever. It was stupid.
Story of our lives up until that point. So yeah, and this is our first true vacation. Yeah, it is that we have done completely sober.
Well, we went to Mackinac Island, but you mean like fly on a plane, go?
Yeah, go somewhere,
Well,
and long,
Yeah.
and long trips. More than a couple days. So it's been really nice. It's been really. I haven't done it, although I could this go around, is get up early and run. I always think about doing that, but then I get there and I never feel good enough to do it.
Yeah, but think of all the actual sleep that you're getting.
Yeah.
Real,
true,
restorative sleep, not
yeah,
passed out sleep.
And carrying the kids around or the kid around. We walk everywhere right now. We have no car down here, so it is healthy, and we've been eating fairly good. And anyways, it just feels so much better from that perspective. So yeah, that's basically, every trip was just alcohol ridden, and Joyce would join me more because most people do drink at some point on vacation as a celebratory thing. I just made it from dusk till dawn, and so
I would always have been so happy to just get coffee though, and so now that's what I mean. My mom and I got a mocktail, but it was like $10 a piece, so it's just like I'll get one, but imagine buying, if you're at the pool all day, like 8 of those, that's a lot of money. So I'm excited to get coffee and hang out with kids. For sure. Yeah, and then the second part of this, and we'll wrap it up. We don't have to go too long today, is just holidays. The longer I live, the more people I talk to. Holidays can be a stressful time, especially when you're with extended family. I've got social anxiety anyway. I have horrible at remembering names. I remember going to I come from 2 big families. My mom had a huge family, my dad had a huge family. And so if we went to extended families, like beyond just the grandparents, oh my gosh, it was so stressful for me, which again, it didn't need to be. No one's expecting me to know all these things, but I would just drink
that away too. And you just find out more that when you have families and there's so many different personalities, and it just makes so much sense. You got people that are, you got the brother-in-law or sister-in-law, whatever, that drink too much, that are like me. You got the brother-in-law and sister-in-law that speak on the fly. There's no filter. You got whatever, critical parents. You got, someone that just loves to attack in whatever way. And so you drink those things away, and I prepared myself in some of those situations by drinking to calm myself from feelings of maybe inadequacy, and that is not uncommon. It's sad, but it's certainly not uncommon. I've been reading more about, just hanging out with family and feeling those feelings of anxiety. And it's like, it's sad sometimes, because it's like, if we had family is supposed to be those that we want to be around, and we strive to try to be around them. We strive to make that a reality. But also, we have to protect ourselves in some regard if the reality is that we are just feeling less than. And so that's what a lot of people do, is drink that away. And I would say holidays could get very excessive. And this isn't just for me. This is a known fact. That's why when you watch football on Thanksgiving, you see all the advertisements for alcohol. They know exactly what people are doing. And that's not to say that everyone's drinking for the same reasons, or that everyone is drinking to excess like I did. I'm just pointing out the simple fact that, unfortunately, sometimes the holiday season, we see such a beautiful presentation in the movies and everything, and not a lot of us are living that. And so the reality mixed with the vision of what we'd like it to be can create some guilt and angst, I guess is the best way to say it. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that at all, but that's the holidays mixed with vacations were just, for me, a great reason to overindulge in any way to calm my mind, and what I believed was to get myself in a state that I was prepared enough to speak to people that maybe I hadn't seen in a while, or just to, drown the feelings that I'm.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would say to that is, if there is someone that makes you feel that way, evaluate that relationship. And if it's something important to you, try to, seek counseling or talk to that person, because no one should make you feel that nervous to be around them. And if they do, why are you trying so hard? It shouldn't be like that. That's not healthy.
Yeah, and I guess that's where I was going with that too, is we do that. We do it for family, perhaps more than we should, because we're striving so hard to. There's something very tribal about the family unit. I mean, we are formed in everything from our family experience, and that's all we have before we become adults. So we try so hard to keep that unit in place. And sometimes it falls apart in some ways, or it's just not put together as it should be. So the whole point is, drinking was a way for me to cope with so many different things in my life. And I see it now, the more people I talk to, the more people that come to me that have said, hey, the videos have helped, or that I can relate on this point and that point. There's a lot of brokenness in the communities around ourselves that we surround ourselves with, whether that's even the husband and wife relationship, certainly coworkers and friends and family beyond that. But it's unfortunate that we take it to the point where we try to cope with it. And that's all this is for me, I think, is that alcohol was a coping mechanism through and through. And so now that coping mechanism isn't there, I really have to do some deep diving, and I've been really working on myself, because I don't want to. I don't know if I said this already, but I had someone tell me, well, hey, you should try marijuana, just some gummies. I don't want to. Not because because I'm judging you and I think that's bad. Not at all. It's because I want to go through my life now dealing with things completely clean of that. I think so many of us use those things to cope. I'm just rambling, aren't I?
Well, I think you're a people pleaser. Well, you know you're a people pleaser. You've discovered this. And it's really sad if you think about the fact that you were drinking to be able to be who somebody else wanted you to be around them. No. Nope. If they don't like me, screw them. I don't care. I'm also not a people pleaser, so that's why I can say that. But that's not healthy to be like, I'm gonna drink to be around these people who are saying rude things to me that offend me, and why? Nope. If they're not willing to listen to you saying, hey, I'd really like it if like you didn't say these things, or this hurts me, can we work on that? If they're not willing to do that, then why the heck are you trying so hard? So I think evaluating those, it all comes back to evaluating those relationships, and if you can't be around them sober without feeling massive anxiety, something's wrong.
Yeah, and if it's forcing you, forcing is a harsh word, but if it's pushing you towards the bottle, towards a substance of any sort, yeah, I mean, it's a problem, and it's either got to be dealt with first from your mental standpoint. But yeah, I would recommend counselor by all means. We talk about it quite a bit. We've got one that we've talked to for the last, almost over a year now, and she's been wonderful. Helped us really grasp the fact that we got to focus on our family unit, our family, and
she has said, like, if Jared brings up something like, well, this person said this, and she's like, that's their problem. If they feel that way, who cares? That's not for you to change who you are and how you choose to function and run your family because they think that. That's not their family.
Yeah. There was a lot of projection myself onto Joyce and our family of how I thought things should be, and it wasn't fair at all. And so that again, going back to the holidays, when you're surrounded by people that have a bunch of opinions about how you should run your life, it can be stressful. And I would just argue to anyone, work on how to handle that without the bottle or without the substance. That's the whole goal of all these videos, is let's try to get back to living life through a clear lens, and we'll all end up on the bright side, like Florida.
Mm-hmm. Drinking NA Coronas. Getting crazy.
Yeah, so good?
Yep.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. We'll catch you next
Cheers.
time. Cheers, folks. Take it easy. Hey everybody, welcome to Small Town Sober. You might see Hey everybody, welcome. Hey everybody, welcome to Small Town Sober. 3, 2. Hey everybody, it's blah.
It's